Back in April, Lululemon fired 2 employees for following some repeat shoplifters out of the store while recording them on video, turning that video over to police, and indeed helping to get those thieves arrested. But the violation, according to company policy, was interfering with the robbery. That creates a hazard, they said. This is a policy all about workplace safety, and so these hazard-creating women were fired immediately. And despite significant public pushback, that's a decision the CEO stood by in a subsequent interview.
We put the safety of our team, of our guests, front and center. It's only merchandise. At the end, they're trained to step back, let the theft occur.
But it's not just merchandise, actually. It's also the livelihoods of your employees who you're kicking to the curb on behalf of the criminals, or at least in a gesture of surrender to them. And if you think that surrendering to these criminals will earn you their favor, it won't. Instead, you'll get more of them, which will create more dangerous scenarios for your employees, not fewer, because as it turns out, the sort of person who's willing to harvest your property and run is the same sort of person who's willing to physically attack you, perhaps even kill you, if there's nothing stopping him from doing it. Case in point, enter Lowe's to illustrate the concept. You would think that major retailers would see the Lululemon case and think, maybe it's wiser to get tough on criminals than it is to get tough on our employees who have to deal with them. But no, instead, Lowe's doubled down on the policy of non-intervention. Or at least they did, though, as we'll get to, they're now having second thoughts much too late to avoid this particular injury, because the result of these no-tolerance, non-intervention policies is not criminals being nice. It's criminals getting more aggressive, and that criminal aggression wasn't enough punishment for this particular employee as far as Lowe's was initially concerned, because the company added the insult to her literal injury of immediately firing her. Donna Hansbrough is 68 years old. She says she's worked at this Lowe's store in Rincon, Georgia for 13 years. And all the reporting I see says she was a great employee with a clean record. And by her own description, she had a great enthusiasm for the job.
I love my job. Loved. I enjoyed working with the people I worked with. I enjoyed helping the customers. I enjoyed everything about it. It was like, how you have your perfect job? That one was mine.
On June 25th, Hansbrough witnessed yet another episode in what she says she commonly sees: shoplifting on a massive scale.
I just wanted to get our merchandise. I was just tired of people walking out, without paying for our stuff.
In this case, over $2,000 worth of merchandise loaded into a cart. When she approached these thieves upon their exit and asked to see a receipt, the thieves refused, and they ran out of the store. Hansbrough pursued, and when she put her hands on the cart to try to stop them, one of the thieves repeatedly punched her in the face.
I had a hold of the cart. He told me to let go. I didn't even say anything. I just held onto the cart, and then he hit me. I grabbed my glasses with my right hand because he hit me from this side here. And then I grabbed him, turned around, he hit me again, and then one more time.
Giving her a black eye.
4 days later, on June 29th, Hansbrough was called into the store management office, not to explain what she had witnessed, not to assist in the company's investigation of the theft, not to hear what the company could do to help her. Instead, she was called into the office for her immediate, no questions asked firing. It was a move that surprised her because while she says she knew that she technically broke the rules, she figured that her years of loyalty to the company would earn her just a little bit of loyalty in return.
I don't think they knew how long I was there or anything else. They just witnessed the survey, and that was what they made their decision on. Nothing else of how long I've been there, how hard I worked, or anything else about the job that I did.
It was a discussion that convinced Hansbrough of her own fault in the matter, apparently. At least, that's what she told a reporter.
It's my fault, but I feel bad at the same time. I don't know. I'm emotionally mixed.
But it wasn't her fault, of course, even if you want to argue that she exercised some kind of poor judgment or violated company policy. This is a circumstance that was created by the criminals. Everybody else is just reacting to it. It wasn't Hansbrough's reaction that created problems for the company. It was the criminals doing the stealing and the attacking. Speaking of, given the company reaction to blame the employee, she has become the headline instead of proper focus on the criminals themselves. These criminals shouldn't be secondary in the scrutiny of their own crime, my own discussion of the story included. But I notice in at least one of the local stories covering this incident, the identities of the attackers are somewhat concealed, not fully erased in fairness, but not exactly featured as prominently as they should be either. There were at least 3 people involved, 3 thieves inside the store, and then I've seen conflicting reports about a 4th guy, a getaway driver, but there were at least 3 thieves, and according to this report, one of them is now in custody.
Right now, one of the subjects is in custody, but on unrelated charges.
Well, that is a very nice way of saying he's been committing other crimes all across town. But sure, if he's in custody, that means we have an identity on him. So who is this menace to society? We're going to discuss him? No, of course not. Instead, we'll just move on to the others.
As for the other 3 subjects, they have pending warrants at this time.
Well, if they have arrest warrants issued, then they also have known identities which are very much in the public interest considering these suspects remain at large and considering that police, according to this story, are looking for help in finding them. So, are you going to tell us who they are? Give us a description of these criminals, perhaps?
In Rincon, Anna Black, WTOC News.
Okay, I guess not then. And no, lack of information at the time of the reporting is not an explanation or a defense. If they know the arrest warrants are out, they know who the arrest warrants are for. There's also the fact that the identities are included in their online version of the story. You just have to go find it and then scroll down to get the information. The suspects are Jarmar Lawton, that's the guy already in custody after arrest in his separate crime spree, Takia Berry and her uncle Joseph Berry, who remain on the run. It is notable that all 3 photos appear to be law enforcement mugshots, despite 2 of these people being still at large at the time of the reporting. So we can infer this wasn't the trio's first dabbling into this criminal behavior. They are making a career of it. Likewise, we'll have to infer why the TV news story opted not to include such clear photography of the suspects. Within the last few days, another of the 3 has been arrested. Reporting on Monday implies that Joseph Berry has been caught because only Takia Berry is listed as still at large, though, of course, she's not hiding very well. She was recently seen stealing again at a Walmart the next county south. And in the meantime, for the last month, Donna Hansbrough has just been living her best newly fired life until last week when she started going to the media with her story and apparently completely reversed her fortune. After these stories emerged late last week, Lowe's corporate issued a statement on Monday and changed their mind about the firing decision. Did we say fired? Because we meant rehired. Welcome back, Donna. Though you'll notice there is no apology in this statement. There's no mention of a raise or any sort of compensation for her troubles. It's just get back to work and shut the hell up. And I'm not exaggerating that characterization. It would be nice if the company had a moral awakening, if someone in leadership saw the story and realized the insane decision they had made and moved to correct the problem with a thorough public explanation for how the company handled it wrongly, perhaps a gesture to compensate her for her troubles. Instead, it is literally shut up, Donna, and get back to work. Donna's husband, Jay, says on social media, Lowe's gave Donna her job back, but not unconditionally. If she wants to work at Lowe's, she has to stop talking to news people, but Donna apparently loves the job in Lowe's enough to agree. It'd be nice if Donna said, I'll accept your offer only on the condition that you never do this to another employee again and start kicking criminal ass where it's deserved, but it seems that she's far too nice of a lady to do that. In reading about this story, I realized this exact circumstance is a lot more common than I first understood. It's not just Lululemon. It's not just Lowe's. There are several examples of this same scenario in just the last few months. In June, a worker at King Soopers grocery store in Arapahoe County, Colorado was fired, just like the Lululemon workers, for filming shoplifters stealing $500 worth of laundry detergent. He didn't physically intervene with the robbers, though he did peel off their license plate cover to get the number. But all he did was document video evidence.
Really, bro? You gotta resort to this? Economy's not that bad.
I gotta disagree with the press secretary here and say it is pretty bad, actually, but I will take his point. This is not a product of economic factors. This is a product of absolute degenerates unafraid of anyone confronting them. So they'll do this just as readily in good times as they will in bad, because without any moral constraints to stop them, only outright force will. In Bakersfield, California in April, a Big Lots manager intervened in the same crime, organized Tide theft. She got fired too, but for supposed intervention, even more passive. She was just waiting for the shopping cart because the bums have taken almost all of them.
For Christmas, we had just got 40 brand new carts. It's March, we're down to 5 carts. So we are instructed no carts are to leave that store whatsoever.
In fairness to company policy, though, she did commit the aggression of recording these thieves on video, and even that mild intervention scared them into fleeing the scene and leaving the detergent behind. And yeah, you can dismiss these particular stories as just anecdotes. Maybe they're not all America's Funniest detergent theft videos, but you can't dismiss the data, because in recent years, retail theft incidents have exploded. Nearly a 50% increase in total retail theft losses between 2019 and 2020. The dollar amount loss in the average theft incident increased over 70%. 71% of retailers report an increase in organized retail crime incidents over the last 5 years, and that's because it is happening. Organized retail crime incidents increased 27% between 2020 and 2021. And there's a key word there, organized. It's not just that these criminals are personally emboldened, though they are. It's that there's now a viable business opportunity. When criminals know that store policy is not to intervene, and they know that employees are afraid to intervene, not just for their own physical safety, but for the security of their livelihoods if they do. And they know that even if they are caught on video, their case will just get referred to some progressive reform DA who will minimize or drop the charges outright. They don't meet any of that politeness with politeness of their own. They get organized. If they know there is no fight, then they just have to bring a minimally organized fight of their own, and they win. And so they are. And that means more people participating in the crime, not fewer. Which means if justice is to prevail, well, somebody is going to have to stop them. And so there's going to have to be a zero tolerance policy somewhere. Either we tolerate people trying to do the right thing and maybe offer some forgiveness for a few mistakes in that pursuit, or we tolerate the people trying to do the wrong thing, trying to victimize, and we should choose wisely, because when good intentions are punished and bad intentions are excused, well, get ready for a lot more bad intentions, which maybe is what these companies are thinking, actually. Meet bad intentions with bad intentions. Fight fire with fire, perhaps, as in firing people. It's close to the right idea, but not quite. It's just the wrong kind of fire. Not fire as in flames, not fire as in employment termination. Think fire as in rooftop Koreans instead. I say that not with any eagerness, but just with acknowledgement of and respect for reality. Where culture rots and the law follows it into disappearance, well, nature heals and justice still finds a way. So position a rooftop Korean in a perch on the star of every Walmart in the country, and this problem will disappear much faster than the 5-finger discounted merchandise itself. But if we insist on politeness to criminals, fine, here's a compromise alternative. Just aim to pop a hole in that detergent jug. It'll all drain out, and these criminals won't want to haul all that weight back across the parking lot again. These are people who hate hard work, after all. That's why they opt out of earning an honest buck. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel always. Appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below and especially over on Gab. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to coming out and chatting my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Goodbye.